Welcome everybody, this is Modern Randy. I am Randy, and today we're talking about Crashing Footfalls, Rhinos, whatever you want to call it. Essentially, that is the deck we are bringing to you today. As always, guys, if you like what I'm doing, you like what you're seeing, leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, keep up with everything that's going on, and let me know what you guys are going to be seeing or taking to your RCQs here coming up. So today we're talking about Crashing Footfalls. This is a deck that kind of has fallen off since we had the banning of Violent Outburst. Deck kind of has taken a nosedive. Cascade has really only become a living end deck for the most part, with Rhinos just kind of being on the back foot as it stands. This is a deck that recently did well. It got 12th place in a challenge or a modern challenge. Doomwake was the pilot. So it's nice to see, Rhinos popping back up, putting up some numbers. It was a deck I had a lot of fun with, a deck I played a lot of. So I'm happy to see it kind of come back into the meta. Maybe this is a one-off. Maybe this deck has gone for good. Maybe Doomwake was just really lucky, or a good pilot, or insert whatever reason or copium you want to have. But I'm happy to see the deck come back, and I'm going to go over this and kind of explain what's going on and kind of some of the card choices and why Doom did what he did and why he's doing what he's playing. So first off, we're playing 11 fetches, and then we have one Arena of Glory because it combos well with the Flage. We have one Lust Portico and one Thundering Falls here as our surveil lands, one island, one plains for the Blood Moon. Blood Moons that people have been playing, Steam Vent, Stomping Ground, Temple Garden, and then Xander's Lounge here just for our leyline bindings to help us get that domain. Excuse me. Then we're playing Charlotte's Agent and Ardent Plea here as our Cascaders. Notably, the only thing we can cascade into is Crashing Footfalls, because everything else has a converted mana cost of 3 or more, thanks to Blizzard's ruling on how that works. Then we're also running our 4 Subtleties. Here, basically, we're just trying to interact with our opponent, keep them on the back foot so we can get our Rhinos into play and continuously attack them until they are no longer alive. We also are playing 3 Flages. Obviously, this card has been amazing. I don't really need to go over too much of it. Turns out that having a 6/6 for 4 mana that also has Lightning Helix on it is really good. As well as, we're putting a bunch of cards into our graveyard between our pitch spells with Subtlety and Force Negation, our Crashing Footfalls going into the graveyard, and then all of our little interaction spells like the Lorien Revealed, being able to go to the graveyard for recycling, so we can fill up our graveyard relatively fast. And then we're playing 4 Leyline Bindings, as well as 3 Dead Gone. Kind of interesting to see this card come back into play. I think it really speaks to the power of Bordos and Mardu being in play. Basically, you need that little bit of interaction, or earlier interaction, to have that turn 1 dead, essentially to interact with the format and what's going on. We also are playing 2 Dismembers as our other removal spells. So basically, we're playing 2 Dismembers, 4 Leyline Bindings, and 3 Dead Gone as our main removal spells, essentially, or removal suite. Dismember, I have to imagine, is in there for Nadu mainly. That's kind of like the big card you need to hit. It also helps against that card, Shieldred. Helps against Shieldred. That is a card that's been running around with the mono black decks that have been running around, things like that. But I have to imagine Dismember is really there for Nadu, so that way you have an edge or main deck removal that can really hit Nadu and kill it in one go. Then we're also playing 4 Force Negations. Obviously, this is to help us against our opponents, making sure they're not resolving powerful spells compared to our powerful spells. Obviously, Force Negation used to be a lot better when we had Violent Outburst, because you go end of your opponent's turn, Violent Outburst. Then you go to the counter, the Crashing Footfalls. You're like, cool, Force Negation, because it's still your turn. So much more powerful play, but now it's just more used to protect our Rhinos as well as to slow down our opponent from doing anything too busted. And then we're also playing 4 Fire Ice, another removal spell, as well as Ice is a great way to interact with our opponent and slow them down, being able to Ice on turn 2, tap their land, go into our turn 3, Cascade into Footfalls, into Footfalls, makes our Rhinos get the ball rolling. And then we're also playing 4 Lorien Revealed, mainly here just for island cycling and filling up the graveyard for Flage. In a pinch, it can also be used to draw 3 cards. It also pitches really well to Force Negation and Subtlety, being able to just kind of get all those cards going, fill up our graveyard, being able to flashback escape our Flage, not flashback, escape our Flage, and essentially just kind of take over the game from there. Overall, deck is very solidly built. No surprise, Doomlake did build this one or built this version of the deck. Obviously, Rhinos has kind of been circulating a little bit since MH3, but it's nice to see it kind of put up a number and actually showcase that it is still a viable deck. And hopefully this isn't just my copium talking, because I really do love the deck. Going over to the sideboard, basically all the cards kind of make sense if you've played Rhinos or understand Rhinos in any way, shape, or form. So we're playing the full set of Obsidian Charmals, basically there for the Tron matchups, through the Reach matchups, all those fun little matchups. Same thing with Inevitable Betrayal. It's there for the Tron, always Tron. Inevitable Betrayal also has a double duty where it can hit for the deck Gordios. Esper Gordios also helps you against that matchup as well. So has a double duty, but it's basically there for the Tron matchup easily. We're playing 4 Endurance here for the graveyard decks. Probably one of the worst matchups for Cascade or for Footfalls is Living End. You really need some kind of number of cards to help you with that. So you have the Endurance for that. We also have 2 Teferis and Mystical Disputes for that. Also, notably, those are for the control matchup. Like I said, we know that, Jeskai Energy has been running around. It's definitely kind of a harder matchup for this deck, especially when you figure that, you don't need any any real energy to destroy our Rhinos. So it does hurt the deck a little bit. That is something you need to watch out for. If you have a whole lot of Jeskai Energy running around, I don't suggest playing Crashing Footfalls or playing Rhinos, essentially, just because Wrath of Skies is always good against you, whether it's on turn 2 or whether it's on turn 30, because it's just 2 mana to wipe your Rhinos. And then we have 1 Wear and Tear, kind of just as a targeted removal for for artifact hate and enchantment hate, mostly there for like the chalices or transfers. Just being able to get rid of those essentially, so we can still cascade into our Footfalls and not have them countered. Overall, the deck looks really solid. No surprise to see it doing well. It still does powerful things, making 2 8/8 on turn 3. Essentially making 10 power with Charlotte's Agent, or just 2 8/8 with Ardent Plea. Really powerful to see this deck still work. Happy to see it still doing well and at least putting up 1 or 2 numbers here and there. Hopefully this deck can figure out its spot in the metagame. I would love to be able to play this deck again and not be laughed out of a tournament. I do think Flage is probably a big upgrade to this deck, and I kind of like to see this deck is going away from the Domain Rhinos, essentially. I do think that the Leyline and Scion are probably not too well positioned at this point in the metagame, or at this point in the meta. I mean, Nadu is also a problem, but I do think it's going to get banned here, hopefully soon. And then we'll get to see kind of what Modern really is, but I do think even with that deck out of the format, I don't think that Domain Rhinos is where you want to be at. So happy to see Rhinos do well. Happy to see this deck kind of put up a number. Happy to see Doomlake do well with it as well. But as always, guys, if you like what you're seeing, you like what I'm doing, go ahead and leave a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel so you can keep up with all my content. And I'll catch you guys next time.